601-885-3776. You can find us on X at BowBounds. That's Twitter at BowBounds. And then the Key City Mi Vida in honor of Cinco de Mayo. That is their Mexican lager out of Vicksburg. Key City Mi Vida, caller line 601-707-3750. Yeah, so now I realize that motorboating has to do with a cabaret.
Yeah.
And boobs. So I didn't know that. I thought it was like some country music song where people did some kind of little dance or, skit like women will do on a Saturday when they start drinking.
They'll do this skit too.
Well, I mean, evidently this can be your skit in your driveway.
That's
you
right.
can motorboat with your lady.
That's right.
Or ladies.
It's encouraged.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was part of an Adam Sandler movie. Is that right? Do I have that right?
Yeah, Adam Sandler does. Yeah, I think it's Billy Madison.
Oh, is it Billy Madison? Okay.
No, it's either, he does it in Billy Madison. It's either that or, oh my gosh. What, man.
What?
Tommy Boy. I think it may happen in that movie. That's not Sandler, but also that movie.
Okay. Do you like Adam Sandler?
Love him.
God, he's brilliant.
He's one of the best of all
He's
time.
like that guy that makes...
Kidding me?
He's the guy that can write it, produce it, direct it, star in it, and make money in every single way, shape, or form.
With his friends.
Right.
All his friends.
And everybody wants to work with him.
Everybody.
That's when it's like Taylor Sheridan right now. When you're to the point where Sandler is or Taylor Sheridan, everybody wants to, you just come up with a project, you start calling your friends who are big names, and they're like, yes, I want to work with you.
You know who his best friend is? Or one of his best friends, at least?
Who?
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, I know that.
Odd.
Why is that odd?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. It's odd. They worked on a film together and they clicked real well.
Haven't they been in several?
Yeah, a lot since that one. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't spend much money on clothes.
No, he dresses like you.
Yeah.
Crappy looking athletic shorts and t-shirts. Yeah. And he wears socks with sandals.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Which really bothers me.
Love socks and sandals.
Awful.
It's
a terrible look. It's
basketball thing.
I mean, The Big Lebowski could pull it off only because that was a role and a part and a shtick, and it was became not just an iconic movie, but his role.
Oh yeah.
And look, he's a hell of an actor, but yeah, it looks dumb.
Maybe with
well, you could disagree. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, Nike slides, man. You gotta have socks on. I'm not wearing. You can't go barefoot. And again, I guess most people don't wear slides everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you met me the other day at Local 463 and looked like you had come out of some church league basketball game.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I don't even, which...
I'm good with that.
Okay. I don't know.
Church league star.
Church league star? Yeah, did you hear about Blake in the, I don't know if it was a church league, but it was some kind of basketball where he started stalling.
You told me this.
Holding the ball for like 15 minutes to win the game, and it drove. Oh, Jason. So there was some crossover, like, Blake and Jason producing, and like everybody on Jason's team.
Oh, I bet they
disliked Blake.
I can imagine.
For stalling the last like 15 minutes of either a church or interview. I don't know what kind of league it was.
They winning no ring. Don't stall.
You love it.
I hate that. I love that Blake did that.
I think it's so awesome, and it's so Blake.
It's so
and it's so he doesn't care. That's what you have to love about. He'll do that in a league. I think he did it multiple times.
Just get it done.
But he'll do that because he'll do anything to win. And that's Blake, like the Mississippi State football program needs to have that mentality. The Ole Miss football program has that mentality.
Right.
We'll do whatever it takes to win. Mississippi State football program is scared of their own shadow. But Blake's a Mississippi State fan, and Blake will bite your ankles to beat you. Like he would grab you by and hold you by the ankles so that you couldn't go anywhere, and never ever let go to win.
No.
Yeah,
I mean he's good with a 14-12 ball game.
Yeah,
as long as he's 14,
like
you're 12.
like Adolph Rupp against Babe McCarthy, 1958. Like that's what they did.
Wasn't that all of the
four corners, stall the basketball, don't let Bailey Howell. Bailey Howell averaged what, 27, 28 points a game, and didn't have a shot clock, and you could stall as long as you wanted.
Yeah, that's so dope.
Was it the Auburn coach back then that kind of created that? Then everybody followed suit. I don't remember, but yeah, four corners.
I just remember it ruling girls basketball here forever.
I didn't think about that.
Oh, they put up.
So I have a theory on girls high school basketball, and it's 100% correct. Actually, it's 109% according to Brad. Are you ready?
Can't wait.
All right. So you should shoot in transition or fast break every single possession. You should never set up an offense.
Yeah.
Ever.
Run it.
Your best shot, your best look is going to be in transition or in a fast break. Pulling the ball out, stopping at the top of the key, or even further back at the top of the key, is grounds for a 22-21 game. Because usually first 1 to 30 wins.
No doubt.
35, whatever, 37, whatever.
No doubt.
If you shot, because it doesn't matter if you, 77% of the shots during the game are missed anyway.
No doubt.
If you shoot nonstop in transition, or I know that's a combo of the same, but there's also some different pieces of this.
Yeah.
Or on fast break, that's going to be your best look.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, who's really running offense is getting a clean look off. And then who you got pulling that? Who's pulling the tray?
So there. That I just gave you the playbook to win big in high school basketball.
That's probably male and female.
Nick says, Bo, today used to be a big day at On the Border.
Oh, I bet.
My man, I know this is going to surprise y'all. I miss On the Border.
Yeah, good.
It was fantastic in the late 90s. It was a good spot. And if On the Border was kicking today, it would be insanity starting about 3 o'clock this afternoon till 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. They'd set a record for margaritas.
No doubt.
Mike Detillier at 8:30, WWL Radio TV New Orleans.
That'll be the last time that I address it.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds show. Mike Detillier coming up next. WWL Radio TV New Orleans. Mike D. Mike D, baby. He'll hang out with us for 20-plus minutes. Looking forward to that. And earlier in the show, we talked about this is Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin's SEC football. They run the league. They own it. And Kirby's the CEO and Lane's the rock star. And I thought Kirby equals structure and discipline, NFL factory. And Lane equals freedom, offense, portal wizard. This is culture versus chaos, but Lane's able to keep it. He's actually much more buttoned up, running in the building than what we want to believe he is on Twitter or maybe running around town. But he's definitely focused and has accountability and discipline in his program at Ole Miss and now at LSU. I do think that Baton Rouge is a lifestyle match made in heaven for Lane Kiffin. I do. I think Baton Rouge is a lifestyle match made in heaven for Kiffin. No doubt Lane in Oxford was fun. Baton Rouge and Lane is going to be electric. Food, bourbon, tailgates, night games in Death Valley. Lane becomes the face of the SEC off the field too. He's already that. Now, Kirby still brings it. When Kirby he's a two-time national championship coach, coached under Saban and won national championships there as a defensive coordinator. He has more than the two that he won as a head coach. And when when he talked last week at the golf tournament, when he speaks, people listen. And it's the same thing with Lane. You notice Sark hadn't said anything this offseason or anything interesting. And then after that, there's really not, Kalen DeBoer is a smart guy and a good football coach, but he's boring. All the new guys don't have enough stuff yet. You got to win some games. Like John Summerall, I think, is a phenomenal coach, but now he's a little vocal, but he needs to go 9-3 in the conference in year 1 or 2, and then he gets to kind of join the party maybe. Alex Golish is boring. Nobody's going to listen to Jeff Levy, Ryan Silverfield. Even Heupel's won, but he's boring. Yeah, Heupel looks like a mailman. Is that fair?
Being kind.
Yeah. He looks like a truck salesman, which a lot of those guys make a lot of money in this state and in Alabama and Georgia, right? But he looks like he's a barbecue sandwich. A little bit of barbecue sauce on the left pec. Well, he doesn't have a pec. He's got more of a boob.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
That guy played quarterback.
Heupel was Mike Leach's first quarterback at Oklahoma and won a national championship. I know. He looks like a undersized JUCO offensive guard. Yeah. It's weird. I don't get it either. Because Lane looks like a quarterback, couldn't get on the field at Fresno State, quit. His dad got him a student assistant job before Jeff Tedford totally kicked him out of the program. Shane Beamer, Shane's fit, looks good, got some charisma, good personality. Hadn't quite won enough. Had that 1 year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We'll see what he does with Kendall Briles as his new OC. I like that. Don't love that Mississippi State's playing him this year, the year that they actually get an OC and may get their act together with Lenore Sellers. Will Stein's at Kentucky. Nobody cares. Nobody knows who he is, and nobody cares about Kentucky football. And then Vanderbilt, that's over. Now that Diego's gone and you had some pop and flash, they won't be able to match that again, I wouldn't think. Clark Lee Motors will probably kind of fade out the next couple of years, and they'll move on. Elko's, I like Elko. He looks like he would wrestle all day long. Elko looks like he would wrestle a bull or an alligator. So there's a little bit there, but he made some what looks like terrible hires at the coordinator position. Whenever a coach says it's that guy's turn, run. Okay? Run. That means he just promoted from within, and it's a buddy. We know about buddy hires. Awful. You're living it in Starkville right now. So, did I miss? So Lane's got pop and pizzazz. Kirby's got pop, and they're different. But actually, Kirby's got more of a funny personality. I mean, he'll ham it up. Oh, yeah. He's funny. Like last year when Lane took a shot at Kirby being a little chubby. I mean, I don't think they're really close, but they're close for Lane.
Yeah, they're close enough.
But, right, and not everybody has to sing Kumbaya together. I mean, but they'll all hang out in Sandestin here in a week or 2 weeks, whatever, and they will chit-chat and visit, and some of them will go to dinner, and they may tee it up, and then, wives will hang out by the pool, and things will, so there will be a little bit of but there's so many new guys. Yeah. There's a lot of dudes that don't know anybody. So they may, who knows?
Yeah, their wives are there, they'll be mean girled out of that.
Oh, wow. Well, Lane doesn't have a wife.
That's true. Well,
Kirby does, and I don't know about the rest of them, to be honest. I mean, I can't remember who's what because there's so many new guys. I don't know a lot about Alex Golish. He coached at South Florida for 5 minutes. Ryan Silverfield was at Memphis. He did pretty good. Sure. But Will Stein was a coordinator at Oregon. But we do know about John Summerall. He did really good things at Troy, really good things at Tulane. John Summerall wanted the Mississippi State job 3 years ago. Selman decided to go with Levy. But I got a feeling Summerall could make this thing work at Florida. It's been a tough run here at Florida post-Urban, other than Dan rocked for 2 or 3 seasons. But
get him out of there.
Other than that, it's been a real weird Will Muschamp, McElwain, Mullen, Napier. Now we got Summerall. Did I miss anybody?
Yeah, who was the one that ended up on the back of the
Venables.
chart?
I can't believe Brent runs hot. So I think Brent could kick everybody's tail. Oh, yeah. Actually, in the SEC.
Yeah.
I don't know. Elko may give him a run, and Kirby's tough as nails.
They're not mean enough.
But now that Stoops is gone, I don't. Venables runs hot. He's a wild man.
Yeah, you don't want any problem with that guy. You don't want any problems with him.
No, Venables works out 2 hours a day.
Boy's big.
He's a big boy.
Big boy.
Yeah.
Just not fat at all.
No.
There ain't an inch fat on him. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's older and bigger. He's got the old man strength, and he's just got brute strength. I'm good.
That's right. And he's still young enough. Yeah. Kiffin plays the villain perfectly in the SEC. Oh, yeah. He had already played it well at Ole Miss, but when you jump from one SEC team to another one, you're the villain, right? And so LSU loves him. Ole Miss hates him, and other teams don't like him either. Not everybody, but there are many teams that wish they had him. Can you imagine if Kiffin was at Bama, Auburn, A&M, Texas, because he's better than Sark, Florida? I mean, programs where you can, Tennessee, well, Heupel's pretty damn good, but programs where you can really win. I'm talking about they just wake up and they attract players. What? But Kiffin is the ultimate villain, right?
And he knows how to play the role.
He loves it. He's probably tweeted 4 hours ago. Yeah, and was rubbing it into somebody. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're driven by your next GMC Sierra truck at Fowler GMC. Pearl Brandon. Detillier next.
it ain't bragging if you can back it up.
Good morning. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Cinco de Mayo, brought to you by the fabulous beer out of Vicksburg, Key City Mi Vida. It's their Mexican lager. It's delicious. Key City Mi Vida. Find it today, call for it, and celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Also, the street tacos at Two Brothers. That's a perfect play. I'll be in Starkville later today. Looking forward to that. And then we'll broadcast from Pearl River Resort on Thursday, and that'll be awesome. We welcome in our friend Mike D. Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. Your next video wall for your business, your church, or your school is powered by Sound, and Communications. SoundcomAV.com. Mike D on the show. Mike is, we were talking about Lane Kiffin and all the hype and the fact that he plays the villain perfectly. Have you already picked up on, I mean, you already knew that. You followed him for years. But have you picked up, now that he's yours, and he's the Louisiana, New Orleans, LSU media guy, have you picked up that other people don't like Lane and that he's plays the villain role damn near perfectly in the SEC and college football right now?
Yeah, he's cast right for the part, all right? And, with everything that's happened at LSU, it was almost like, they found the slipper that fit on Cinderella.
Yeah.
I mean, it was perfect for him, and he doesn't mind it. And it's always sort of has been that way. He was one of the first guys to really embrace the transfer portal, the NIL type deal. A lot of people kind of, flung their nose down on Kiffin when he did that at Ole Miss. Brian Kelly was one. I'm not paying for players. Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Dabo.
And, you get run off. If you didn't understand, you have to play that game today. But he's the type of guy that I think doesn't mind it. He would rather take the heat himself than throw it on his team, and doesn't mind that the hot spotlight of the sun. Now, a lot of people say I don't mind it, but they're lying. They don't like it at all, and him, he embellishes it all the way, and so. No matter where I do a show, even if it's on the Saints or the NFL or draft or whatever, or college football, it all comes back to the end about Lane Kiffin and how, that he's a sort of a perfect fit for LSU at this point. Man, and you think about, not only with Lane, but with Will Wade as the LSU basketball coach. Kim Mulkey, super successful, but she's a bit of a lightning rod too, for controversy. The one guy that, and he eats, sleeps, whatever, baseball, is Jay Johnson. He's won 2 out of the last 3 national championships. His demeanor is totally, totally different than anyone else, even though this year it's really been a season of disaster for LSU baseball-wise, but it is really something to cover it. I tell young reporters this all the time. Man, embrace it. It's not always going to be like this. You're not going to have this array of coaches with these personalities, with this background in Baton Rouge all at one time. It's not going to always be that way. So soak it in, guys. They're going to give you content, even when you're not looking for content. They're going to give it to you.
Mike D on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. And we're talking LSU coaching personalities, and Mike D framed it up great. They've got 3 of them that are incredibly talented and wild horses. I mean, this is awesome. Kiffin, Kim Mulkey, and, of course, the American gangster Will Wade. Mike D joins us on 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Hey, Mike, what have you heard about Sam Levitt's injury/recovery? Some people are saying that he won't be ready by, late summer or Labor Day. What have you heard?
That's incorrect.
Okay.
People saying that have no clue of what they're talking about. But it's part of the narrative that goes along with. The one thing I will say this, my dad would talk about, the rivalry between LSU Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
And, he grew up in a different era than me. And how heated it was, especially when you think about into the late 50s, into the 60s. That was really a heated rivalry. In my lifetime that I can remember, I don't ever remember it this heated between LSU, Ole Miss from a football standpoint. Now, there's always going to be a little bit of turbulence if it's basketball, baseball, that sort of thing. But right now for football, I get stories daily, and I know where it's coming from. I don't have to dig it up. Man, the rivalry is really super heated. So you're going to hear stuff from both ends too, not just Ole Miss end. It's also from the LSU side about players, coaches, everything else. So I think that's where a lot of that is coming from. But everything I've been able to gather, and he is running on that foot, and he is on schedule. And I'm fortunate to work with the people at Thibodeau Regional Medical Center and Ortho LA, the orthopedic part of it, and they do a tremendous amount of work on athletes today from across the nation. And they all pointed toward that this most likely a full recovery would be somewhere middle to late June. And they told me that back in January, that was going to be the kind of countdown deal with it. And the Lisfranc injury today is something we've seen a lot of athletes go through. And the way Sam Levitt runs around, that's important for him. And so I understand the comments and thought process behind it, but everything I've been able to gather and see, Levitt will be ready for middle to late June and ready to roll. And he did participate in some portions of the spring practice. And, Bo, he's the big key offensively. There is no question.
Yeah.
And Lane Kiffin has said it, that Sam Levitt is the key to this season on the offensive side of football. I think he has made it known that the offensive line has played better than he thought it would. It's always got talent, and he's went out and get guys, especially at wide receiver, for this team and upgraded in different kind of receivers. Trey'Daz Green's just a freak of nature at that tight end spot. And then for them over the weekend to get one of the most highly recruited football players in the country, another tight end, Ahmad Hudson from Ruston High School, similar type player. I think Sam Levitt's the key for him on offense, just like I really believe Whit Weeks is the key for them on defense. This football team is a lot better when Weeks is out on that football field. His enthusiasm, his knowledge of the game, him and Blake Baker on the exact same page with things, his ability to relay what's happening on the field, it is such a key. And Weeks is coming off an injury too and did not participate in the drill. So I think those two guys, Levitt on offense and Whit Weeks on defense, are the keys for LSU this season, having them healthy and ready to roll for the entire season. The schedule, you play Clemson early and then play Ole Miss in week 3.
Wow.
But look how this season closes for LSU. That is really tough because you're playing Alabama and Texas late in the year.
and at Tennessee.
Yep.
At Arkansas should be okay,
which
but
could be, that is not quite the hype game that the Ole Miss game is. But the last time Lane went there, that was quite an adventure too.
oh yeah, golf balls
saw
and
the
mustard or
mustard.
something. I don't remember. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
the mustard stuff. He caught a golf ball. Somebody threw a golf ball at him, and he actually caught it, in flight. So, yeah, extra security for that game also. But, yeah, the way LSU finishes the season in Game 3, if that's not game day, nothing is. I mean, if I'm ESPN, I'm there.
Oh,
I know. If both teams roll into that 2-0, which I expect that'll happen, man, you can't measure the hype for that game. And that's when Lane is his best, I think, when all that spotlight is on him and just try to get his players to go out there and play.
Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. Lane Train pulls Clemson at home to start his kick it off as the LSU coach. And then, as Mike D said, September 19th will be LSU at Ole Miss. I can't believe it lined up that way. Incredible. Mike D joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Mike, you mentioned Sam Levitt and Whit Weeks. If LSU does win big in year one, do you think it will be driven by their defense and Baker and those guys being retained? Mike D?
Hell no. That train's running on offense.
Okay.
I really believe that. It's going to be what they can do on offense. And I tell you what, one of the surprise guys, Dylan Jones, who they got from Wisconsin, he has been the biggest surprise of the spring at running back. He was the starting running back for the Badgers last year and got hurt. And, man, he has really been the talk of the spring. Dylan has really, really played well. And from not only coaches there, but from players talking about, man, this guy is a really, really good football player. Thickly built, 6'1.5" running back, north-south guy. And, Lane is not objectionable to playing multiple backs. And, they do return Caden Durham and Harlem Berry. And how they use Dylan along with Harlem Berry and Caden Durham. That is going to be, I think, really interesting to watch because this team has struggled running the football. Has really, really struggled running it. And I think you need a power driver. You really need a power driver running back. I can't say that Caden Durham and Harlem Berry is built that way, but Dylan is. And he has really been the talk of spring drills that, hey, LSU got something here with that big back. And but I think LSU's success will be fueled by their offense. Playing a little bit of tsunami football. Okay, I jump on you and, try to get back in the game. And then you can do a lot of things. If you're ahead and you can put extra pressure, and that's where I think Blake Baker can really hone in on. And
Okay.
the key to success for them is, tell me the last great pass rusher you remember at LSU.
It's been a minute.
That long pause tells you all you need to know. Going out in the transfer portal and getting Jordan Ross and Princewell Millen, I think that's the other part to watch, where I think Weeks is a big part of what they're going to do on defense. But those two guys developing, and we saw last year, Princewell, he was a really good player for them. And I think he's got more talent than his brother, Princely, to be honest with you, as a pass rusher. I think he's a little bit quicker, a little bit faster off the snap, and, man, he can rush the quarterback. But the other part is Jordan Ross, highly recruited football player, goes to Tennessee, and we saw flashes of it at Tennessee, but he was never really a consistent guy. And if you can get those two guys rolling, you got what you got. And I'm a big believer in this. Nothing at the collegiate or pro level, nothing wins more games in the fourth quarter than a pass rush. Nothing. You can talk about the great receiver and the cover corner and the running back. And if you behind and, you got guys trailing your quarterback every play, putting pressure on influence of play, man, it changes the game. How many times we've watched teams maybe down by 10 or 12 points in the fourth quarter and they come back and win? The other team is exhausted and they can't get a pass rush on that signal caller. Cannot. But if you can get those two guys rolling, LSU got something. And, again, with that offense, being able to put points on the board and quickly for you, that is that's the big key. I think the key is they're going to be offensive driven, but in the fourth quarter, can Jordan Ross and Hugh McMillan be that guy that can put a consistent pass rush? That is really also, along with not running the football on offense, not being able to put pressure on the quarterback on defense has really been a downfall for the LSU Tiger football team.
Mike Detillier talking Kiffin and LSU. They play Ole Miss September 19th. It's probably going to be the biggest game in the history of the state of Mississippi, college football-wise, and we've had some big ones. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Mike, I get the sense that Lane wants Saban's blessing, as kind of a good coach and all that. I feel like Lane has gone above and beyond to try to cultivate a relationship with him because I think they were oil and water when Lane was there at Alabama. And obviously he and Saban talked about the LSU job. I don't think they're close by any stretch, but how do you think their relationship is?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to assess it, to be honest with you. I think he wants his blessing. Listen, I'll be honest with you. Listening to him at these press conferences, at times, if you close your eyes, you would think it's Nick Saban. I mean, he's got a lot of what you would hear in the past from Nick. You're hearing it from Lane.
Yeah.
And so there's no question that Saban played a part in him coming to LSU. There is no doubt of that. If you don't think so, then you're not really informed. He played a part into it. And I do think you're right. I think he kind of gravitates toward getting that blessing from Nick about certain things. And I agree with you. It's not like they super close, but I do think the relationship is good between both of them. That, if I'm thinking about something, let me pass it by Coach Saban and see what it is. And it's similar to Coach Saban had a relationship with Pete Jenkins, the longtime defensive line coach like that. If he needed something and he needed maybe a word or he needed maybe thoughts on something to do differently, he would call Pete Jenkins up and talk to him about it on defense. It's remarkable about how coaches form that relationship, and they're not maybe super close. They're not out eating dinner with them or playing cards or shooting pool, whatever. But they have that respect for one another. And I think Lane, he really wants that respect from Coach Saban. And I think he got it because Coach Saban would not have gotten involved if he didn't respect Lane Kiffin.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way that Nick Saban gets involved in this if he didn't have full confidence and full respect for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Saban was hesitant early on, but then after the 6-year run at Ole Miss, where Lane was unbelievable, Saban came around to some extent on, allowing Lane to bounce, like you said, ideas and life advice around it. And maybe that accelerated once Monty passed away,
Bingo. That was going to be what I was going to add. I think, the death of his father did have something to do with that. And I think you always looking, and if it's in the coaching ranks or if you're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, uh, just sort of thoughts from someone else in that same field. And I do believe that, Lane seeked it more, once Monty passed away, and I think it was there for him. The other thing I will say about Lane, he sort of is telegraphing what he is going to change offensively and defensively. And he has brought this up 4 or 5 times, and I caught it the first time he said it, was that if you're looking for change in college football, look no farther than the NFL, on the field and off the field. What he has constructed off the field is very similar to what an NFL front office would look like and how the structure is.
Yeah.
On the field, he's brought this up a few times about just look at some of the recent changes in the pro game. And I know you and I have talked about this. The 3 tight end offense, the 13 personnel, he ran a lot of 12 2 tight end offense at Ole Miss. But I think what you're going to see from LSU is to try to go even to the point of 13 personnel, because then you can't substitute on defense. If you go small and I got 3 tight ends, I'll mash you running the ball. And it's to match up against a 6'4" plus tight end, and I got 3 of them on the field. So who's going to cover that 6'4" tight end? No linebacker. Good luck with that. And on defense is finding kind of the next Nick Emenwari. You watch Seattle's success early on last year and throughout the season. What Emenwari brought to the table, in that he was a hybrid guy. He played safety, but he was up in the box. He could play in coverage. He could play center field, kind of moving him around all over the place. And one of the first signees of this transfer portal period was Ty Benefield, who they got from Boise State. And he was a really good football player at Boise State. And I think he envisions Ty Benefield to be his version of Nick Emenwari. He very quickly embraces what the NFL changes. And I think that's something you will see from his offense this year. 13 personnel, the 3 tight ends, and to have that hybrid safety. And he's got one in Ty Benefield, who he brought over from Boise State. It is something he, in every press conference, he has brought up about, look how the NFL changes, and we adapt to what the NFL does.
Boom. Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. Thanks, Mike D. Talk next week.
Thank you, brother.
That was great. You'll find it on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. We'll be back in a second with Steve Robertson.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out of Order.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Low Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
These guys are a bunch of dumbasses.
Oh, the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Grit Fitness and Training Facility in Flowood. That's where Connor Griffin, Jake Mangum, JT Ginn, among others, train. In the offseason, Director of Baseball Operations, Jay Powell, Grit Fitness and Training. Go ahead and tour the beautiful facility that's newly renovated today. They have monthly memberships at Grit Fitness and Training in Flowood. Check it out today. We're ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We bring in Steve Robertson. JeansPage.com, 247 Sports, brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in Starkville, Mississippi. Steve, what is the latest on Ben Davis's injury, pitcher for MSU?
Well, he locked up, and it looked like, it was an arm injury. And then we talked to O'Connor post-game, and he said it was a back. And remember, he had some back trouble last year. Some of that's just being a bigger guy. But he did warm up on Sunday in the bullpen some. So, obviously, that leads you to believe that it's probably not a long-term thing. I'm sure they'll be careful with him this week. But, you typically don't see a guy that's severely injured warming up in the bullpen the next day.
No. Okay. All right. So if you had to call it and he needs to throw on Thursday against Auburn and Butch Thompson, you think he'll be a go?
I think it's a possibility. It just depends on how well he responds to treatment. They've got great people involved.
Oh, sure. Physical therapists left and right and everything else.
Oh, absolutely. And so they're not going to push him, obviously, but, Ben's a competitor, and if he can pitch and not hurt himself or pitch without major discomfort, I'm sure he'll be available.
Okay. We talked off the air yesterday for our listeners, and you don't feel like Ryan McPherson will make his debut from injury this weekend. Do you want to handicap maybe a percentage of whether he could throw an inning or two against Texas A&M the next weekend, Steve?
Yeah, see, I was told on Saturday, unofficially, that it would be, quote, a couple more weeks. And I shared that on our site, that I don't expect him to pitch this week, the possibility for next week. And I think really you'd like for him to take the mound in a real game before you get into the postseason.
Right.
And does that mean A&M? Does that mean the SEC tournament? And yes, I understand that's technically the postseason, but I don't think you want to trot him out there for the first time in an NCAA regional in a high-leverage situation until you know how he's going to respond. But, we knew when it happened it was going to be a lengthy recovery, and, it is a significant injury that doesn't require surgery, but does require a lot of rest and therapy. And I can tell you unequivocally, Ryan is ready to be back on that mound and helping his team, but they won't push him out there until he's 100% ready.
All right. I don't think all was lost. You were in Austin, Texas. They lost 2 or 3, but I don't think all was lost. They won a game. I know Sunday they jump out early and then it just, 5-0 and then 9-5. I felt like in 5 minutes. But what do you make of your top 4 batters going 0 for 20? At this point.
It's not good. And that's one of the things, I brought that up in postgame, and I think people maybe were surprised at the actual number, and when you play these big series, your stars have to shine the brightest.
Yeah.
And listen, State did a good job against Carson Tenney, and for the most part, Aiden Robbins. But, so you attack the guys that are the most meaningful bats in the order. The difference is that I thought the back half of the Texas order did a better job than the State side. And Pack, of course, from Texas, maybe your SEC freshman of the year, he had some really big hits with Longhorns. But I agree with you. I think we spoke last week and felt like whoever won the series or won the game on Friday was going to win the series. And to me, that game is a little more bothersome than Sunday because, when you don't get anything from Ben Davis due to injury and Maddox Webb is just pitching on fumes, that forces you to use back of the bullpen arms. And against number 4 team in the country, that's going to be a nasty proposition. But, State had multiple opportunities on Friday and just could not get the timely base hit. And Dylan Belantis is an alien. I mean, he is, and I said in my pitching preview, maybe the best pitcher that we see this year. I mean,
He's
absolutely outstanding.
damn good.
But you still had chances to make that game work.
Right. All right. Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. This is a good team. Of course, I don't know that we have a dominant team in college baseball. So I think they're perfectly capable of doing damn near what any other team can do, Steve. But they're not elite, I don't think they're elite at the plate. I think they're good, and at times they're really good. And I definitely don't think they're elite on the mound. I think they're super young. I think, starters, Tomas has been pretty damn good all year. The other two, it's been a roller coaster. Mid-relief looks to me, you don't know what you're going to get. And the closing part, you don't know what you're going to get. There's some talent there, right? When Ben Davis is healthy and da-da-da. So I think it's a good team that can cash in on all their hopes and dreams, but far from dominant and elite. How do you see it, Steve?
Are you describing the 2021 Mississippi State team or the 2026 team?
Well, okay, that's a good point. I mean, they got hot at the right time. I mean, they were good throughout the year like this team. And you had Bednar, and, then you had kind of McLeod, but you kind of shuffled through on your second and third starter, blah, blah, blah. And obviously Landon was amazing to close it out. And TA was amazing damn near every weekend. So there's some similarities and a little bit of differences. I see where you're going, Steve.
Well, along those lines, too, State wins a national championship with a starting pitcher and a half. And I'm granted you had some bullpen arms like Preston Johnson and Landon were great. They were elite. But that team never really had the signature series win in the regular season unless it was Ole Miss for Super Bulldog weekend. You drop 2 out of 3 on the road, Vanderbilt. You end up losing 2 out of 3 to Missouri late. You go back and look at the totality of that schedule, it's comparable to what you've got this year, and I think you make a good point, and Polkey says it all the time. The best team doesn't win the national championship. It's a team that gets hot at the right time. Because in 2021, Arkansas was absolutely dominant that year, and then they get upset in the regional. I mean, there's a reason we play a tournament. And so what you want to do is find the right pieces, and, maybe playing wires now at short is one of those moves you make late that make a big difference in your schedule. Obviously, we had a really big swing on Saturday. And, Maluski obviously has settled in to be your everyday catcher. And so you play, the regular season to kind of figure out who you can trust and who can produce. And then hopefully you're playing your best baseball when the tournament comes. But there are no perfect teams. And I think that's one of the things that, when you're only acutely aware of what happens with your team, you don't understand that other teams that are similarly situated have similar problems. And so even talking to Texas guys this weekend, they were just, we're not getting that production out of this guy. This guy's been a liability defensively. And, I'm thinking, hey, pretty patient offense. These guys do a really good job here. And then, bullpen outside of Cozart, the bullpen's unpredictable, So everybody kind of feels a similar way about their team because all you see are the flaws in your team.
That's right.
You don't see the flaws in other teams.
Fair enough. All right, give me one name. I've only got 30 seconds. Outside of Ace Reese, who has to get going? Is it Aiden Teal? Is it Noah? Who's the one guy outside of Ace that's got to get going at the plate?
Well, I take them both, but I think it's Noah. And, he had a great weekend against OSU, and then this weekend against Texas was largely forgettable. And a lot of strikeouts, had a couple of 3-pitch strikeouts. Noah Sullivan is a leader on this team, and if this team is going to get to Omaha, Noah Sullivan's going to have to be a big part of that. And there's a reason you worked hard to bring him back, and there's a reason that he's hitting 3-hole in your order, and so he needs to be a player that plays up to his ability in order for Mississippi State to achieve their goals.
Hit genespage.com right now, 247 Sports. Thanks, Steve.
See ya.
We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Show is brought to you by Martin's in Livingston. The blue plate today is ribs. They've been cooking them since 4 a.m. Blue plate, ribs, Martin's in Livingston.